Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Insight Show. I'm Reverend Tiffany, White Sage Woman. The show is brought to you by True Psychics Network. And I apologize for the delay in starting the show. I had to take care of some doggy business. Oh my goodness. And of course the timing is always just perfect, isn't it? They don't care what you gotta do. Anyway, I'm here. And laughing about it, being in good spirits. So if you do see smoke, I have incense burning for those of you who may be viewing this show live for the first time. Thank you. Welcome. And of course, if you're watching live, then you have the capabilities of chatting in the chat room with other viewers. And if you're watching the show in the archives, just thank you so much for watching the show. You will not be able to chat with everyone, but that's okay. Hopefully you'll be able to check a live show one Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's a lot of fun in the chat room. The live viewers have a lot of fun, I should say that. So great, a bunch of people who sit in Sacred Circle with me every day. So it's kind of like when you watch this show, it's kind of like a healing session and a psychic mediumship type of circle. We sit and we share, and it's really beautiful. So sit back, relax, hope you have your favorite beverage, and enjoy the show. So I always start the show off with the numerology of the day, the number of the day. And if you take today's date, the complete date, we use the complete date, January 20th, 2015, and we take it down to a single digit. Numerology is taking the numbers down to a single digit between 1 and 9. Okay, so the date for today, again, like I said, is January 20th, 2015. January, of course, is the number 1 month. January is 1. The date is 20. 2 plus 0 is 2. All right, and then 2015 is an 8 vibrational year by itself. But 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3, and then 3 plus 5 is 8. That's how we get that. We're always adding it down to 1 digit. Okay? So for today, it would be 1 plus 2 plus 8, which equals 11. 11 is a power number. Any number that repeats, 11, 22, 33, 44, those types of numbers are powerful power numbers. But you still take it down to a single digit. 1 plus 1 is 2. So it's a very powerful 2-day, number 2. So I know too early for math, isn't it? Some of you. Number 2, this is, again, it carries, it's a very high energetic day. It needs very little additional energy, and because the events just run naturally on their own. Today is not a day for new undertakings or changing of direction. It's a very powerful day, and we can kind of feel like we can take on more. This is not the time to do that. All right? Instead, and you don't even really have to complete anything. They want you to really, unless it's completion in spiritual life, is take time to relax and focus on your personal and spiritual life and spiritual well-being. Mind, body, and soul. Taking care of mind, body, and soul things. It's a very powerful day to do that. Sensitivity and a feeling of self-consciousness affect you strongly today, and it's a good day to be in harmony with others by not being around them. Does that make sense? It means you have to take care of yourself first. And if you find that you're getting agitated and you're getting snippy at somebody, and it's okay, wait a minute. Why am I reacting or responding this way? I think I need to go put myself in timeout. I need to figure out what's going on. I'm just going to go back to bed. Okay. No, or just go have a meditation. I'm just going to go somewhere and maybe do some grounding and do some breathing work. And just because if you're at work and this happens, you can't just necessarily leave. But you could. But some people don't want to be fired. But go to the bathroom. Ask, take a break. Go. Just there's always ways that you can de-stress yourself. All right. So anyway, so that's the energy of today. Very high. Speaking of numerology, Jane Alton, who is the UK's #1 numerologist, has a daily numerology that is shared in the True Psychics Network magazine on a daily basis. So please check out, if you haven't already, you just go to the TruePsychicsNetwork.com website, click on the magazine tab, and you will see Jane Alton's daily numerology post. You will also see where shows are being advertised. If you sign up, subscribe to the magazine, you will get emails of each posting, of each article that's submitted in there. And so, and then from time to time, we have articles for members. We need to have some more articles, as a matter of fact. So members, watch out. I'm coming after you, asking, you have something to submit? An article? It's just a great place of sharing. And then the horoscopes this week is by our newest member of True Psychics Network, Sherry Scott. And so if you haven't checked out the horoscopes, do so as well. Just click on the horoscope tab and you can see what energies are favorable for you this week. And speaking of Sherry Scott, I have another show this evening. It's a radio show only, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And that is the True Psychics Network channel on Blog Talk Radio. So you get to have Spiritual Insight Show 2 times today. Live TV now and then radio later at 9 p.m. And Sherry Scott and myself will be giving mini psychic readings to those that call in this evening. So if you would like to, it's a chance to showcase and show off Sherry to everybody. And we'll chat and you'll get to know about her later on. So it's going to be a great time later this evening. All right. So thank you so much, Magical Winds in chat, for posting the links. Magical Winds is actually Chip Lavelle, who is a member of True Psychics Network. He is a Crystal Reiki Master Teacher and a very powerful healer. So if you have a chance, check out all the members on True Psychics Network. Absolutely do that. And for those of you watching this on archives too, yes, I say True Psychics Network. My personal website is whitesagewoman.com. But of course, you could find all that even through True Psychics Network. If you were to click onto my page, it'll give you all that information. So, but I want you to check out all the members, and each and every one has something different and unique to offer. We're all pretty much healers in a sense, so be sure to check everyone out. And that's on True Psychics Network. And so I do have a YouTube channel as well. It's Goldylocks, TOH, which is Temple of Healing. So if you just go in and either type in my name, Tiffany White, or Goldylocks, TOH, for Temple of Healing, you should find my YouTube channel. Subscribe, because I do have some not only some archived shows, but also I have made some videos here and there, like half-hour videos, little snippet videos, 15-20 minutes. So, all right. Let me take a sip of water. Whew. Okay. So, I also like to every week have a message, a crystal and gemstone message, and then a spirit power animal message. So we'll start with the crystal message for this week is Rainbow Jasper. Rainbow Jasper. Beautiful if you haven't seen a piece of Rainbow Jasper. This is a calming stone, and it relieves emotional stress and anxiety. And believe it or not, from a high vibrational day like today, it can create stress and anxiety if you're not vibrating in harmony with the energy of today. Do you get that? So, always use that as a self-check too, for, okay, do I feel okay today? Why am I feeling stressed or anxious? Am I honoring who I am today? We kind of got to go through this little checklist, not ignore and just push through. And more people are awakening and listening to that intuition, listening to what's going on within them. So, Rainbow Jasper, if you haven't seen that, please use your search engines, see what it looks like. It's very pretty. So now, the power animal today, and I know there's going to be jokes. I know it. No. Is quail. So, quail. Quail's characteristics and represents living close to the earth, the ability to blend in the background, it's invisibility. Now, I'm not talking about holding your breath, being invisible, waiting for a situation to pass you by. I'm talking about very high empowerment and visibility. What does that mean? It means that and nature lovers understand this concept. It means you can go into nature and even into a group of people, and a lot of people have done this. They go into a group of people and they can just connect on a higher vibration that they feel invisible. People don't see them anymore. Or I didn't realize you were standing there. Or just because you're vibrating at such a high rate, it makes you invisible. And that's the connecting. That's the oneness. Those, like I said, who go into nature, we absolutely understand this. We're one with the birds, with the squirrels, with the wildlife, with the plants, with the trees. It's also very beautiful, that connection. All right, and that invisibility, when you lose your identity, and just for a brief moment, it's not like permanent, and when you feel connected to everyone, what it means is, it's not that you lose your identity, so to speak, but that it's not important to you anymore. You're seeing past your own eyelashes. All right, and you're feeling and experiencing everything. It's very beautiful. All right, that's the type of invisibility I'm talking about. Another characteristic is finding peaceful solutions in peril times, and the courage to face, understand, and find balance in hardships and challenges. Yeah. The courage to be balanced, to achieve that balanced state. All right. And diversity of color, and pretty much just diversity in general. So that's really powerful crystal and spirit power animal messages today, but it goes right hand in hand, I see, with the topics of today. So the topic for today is grounding, the awakening process, and a personal experience I'll share at the end of the show that I can finally share with others. Some of my experiences I can only journal about and not talk about, but there was one that had happened recently, and I've actually sat on it for like 3 years. And the guides came to me this morning and told me it's time to share about this. And I was actually kind of hesitant because it was something that was very, it wasn't traumatic. It was very beautiful. But there was some hesitation with the whole process, and I won't keep you on suspense. I'll just share it with you later. You'll understand what I'm trying to say. Sometimes it's beyond words, right? But, so. Alright, so, grounding. And you've heard of meditation is really, really important. The whole reason why meditation is important is for grounding. Actually, it's for balance. let me correct here, because grounding is just one aspect of balance. There's grounding and there's ascension, all right, and going into the upper vibrations. And I'm explaining the difference in the two, all right. But most of us need to be grounded. Now, I have met people who are too grounded, and they come across as negative or doomsday, doom and gloom type of people because they're too grounded and they haven't been in upper vibrations. These people usually repeat back onto earth very quickly and fast. They don't have much time in between lives. They keep coming back in, and they're tired of coming back in, and they've walked in the darkness so long that they feel stuck. They're waiting for someone to come in and make a change, but you can't wait for that to happen. You have to make the change. All right? And so they're so used to the dark that they need to get back to the light. All right? Absolutely. Just channel some of that lightness in. I'm not saying go from one extreme to the next, but I've met people like that. They're very heavy earth energy. And there's nothing wrong with earth, but even the soil, and I want you to know this, that top soil there is overturned so that yang, that sun energy, can balance it. All about balance. All right? And don't take for one moment that you don't think that a seed can't feel the sun's warmth in the winter time with snow on top of the ground. Absolutely it does. All right? But these heavy energies I'm talking about can't even feel the warmth anymore. They become disconnected. So they have to reconnect. And these are the ones that need to play in the upper vibrations a little bit more. All right? To reconnect. So for those of us that want to ground, though, for those of us who have had past lives in different planets, different multiverses of this one huge universe, who maybe played in the stars, and we have memory of life off of this earth. And that, too, can make you feel anxious, of completing this mission and leaving. So what happens is you're half in your body. You take off. When those who are flighty like that, I call, they need to come back into their body and ground deeply. All right. And so I'm finding more and more people are like that. And even those that have had multiple lives, they come back in, they have post-traumatic stress. They don't want to plug in completely. Because it's like, what's the point? We're going to be leaving anyway, right? Or, so they, whatever excuses they make or whatever. So, I apologize with that. Hey! Come here! Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but he just would have kept on barking. All right, somebody must have been walking by. Yes, I know. Who was it? You say hi? Ty? Say hi to everybody. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the rambunctious little boy. Oh. But, and we can find that we have both of those times. We can experience both. There's some days we feel very grounded. There's some days we feel very flighty. There's some days where, you just go back and forth between the extremes. But we really need to find that place of balance. So, yeah. It's okay, honey. Anyway. Take a deep breath. It's all good. Let me be balanced. And there's challenges all the time. But we have to not look at it as a challenge and kind of just, I choose to stay focused here. I choose to stay focused here and not what the heck my dogs are barking at. I'm stay focused right here. Stay balanced. All right. And I think it's interesting. There's a new term, earthing, grounding, earthing. I find it kind of comical that they have earthing devices. They have earthing sheets. They have things that help you to ground electrically. And I'm like, wow, that's a great marketing ploy. That's a great marketing ploy. Take off your shoes and walk outside. You know, of course, be mindful of your environment. If you've got hot coals outside, if you've got fire ants in your front yard, you have to be careful with this earthing thing. You just can't do it anywhere, right? Anyway. So, the obvious idea of having one's feet solid on the ground or walking is that connection. And walking in a balanced way with certainty, right? If you're uncertain, don't you feel unbalanced? So it also means being fully present, both physically and spiritually in this dimension. In this dimension. Remember, we are multi-dimensional beings. And we try to go everywhere. But we have to stay focused right here and now. Alright? And it doesn't mean that you can't work on different levels. I've multitasked before. I can feel myself going and healing a situation in the past, planting a healer, like a healing tool in the future for me, whether it's a memory or anything like that, an orb, going and placing an orb in the future for me, and still be present at the same time. But if you're really stressed, if you're in a stressful situation, or you have so much going on that needs your focus in the here and now, you shouldn't be multitasking in the multi-dimensions like that. Okay? So just know when you can and can't do that. Alright? Grounding is also beneficial to help you feel more balanced, increase your inner strength, your confidence, and your focus. Alright? It does help and accent your spiritual development. It provides an outlet and allows the release of energy more easily. Things that you're holding on to. When you're grounding, it just goes. Alright? So, grounding should be a part of your daily routine, just like meditation. I just feel like a lot of words are interchangeable. It means the same thing. But most people, if they don't hear the right word, if they don't hear the right word association, they're not understanding what's being said. So, how many of you have had to try to have a conversation with somebody and you just feel like you're both speaking two different languages? You feel frustrated. You know that feeling? Now, think about your guides trying to communicate with you and you don't have that same language set up and established. It's just they're frustrated. And of course you could be frustrated because it's like, I can't hear my guides. Why can't you hear your guides? It's because they are going to use certain words, phrases that's already in your library. But sometimes they will expose you to new words, and you have to recognize, this is where we put too much energy into what's being said, the word. You need to put your feelings into it. Feel their intention. Feel what's being said. Oh, then I can match it to this. I would have said this word, but I realize that it's the same thing. All right? And so it's kind of like the same when you are listening to someone else, maybe in a show or radio show, whether it's radio or TV, and feel what they're saying too. And don't get so stuck on words. All right? So, but yeah, to me it's like grounding, the whole grounding and balancing process is why meditation is important. Okay? So it's just kind of like the same thing. Now, let me give you some symptoms of what it feels like to not be grounded. When you're not grounded, all right, when you are taking out of your body, you're leaving your body. You can be half in, half out. All right, and now another thing is those that are half in, half out, Depends. You can tell where they're in at. Okay, so if they're in like to the waist, so from the waist down, they may have health issues. Why? They're not plugged fully into their body to take care of it. Their body's left on its own to, what do? We're not getting any commands. You know, our soul's half in. Our soul's not communicating with us. What's going on? See, it's very important. You just leave a portal open, so to speak, to allow dis-ease to come in. So that's why we need to stay grounded. And there's some people who are, it's just in their head and that's it. You know, and then they have, from the neck down, they can't understand why they have all these issues going on. Ground some more. But here's the symptoms of what it feels like when you are not grounded. You can feel spacey, dizzy, airheaded. Airheaded. Actually, insomnia. You know, it's the opposite of falling asleep is insomnia. Because your mind is constantly going right here. You're not fully in. Alright? Most insomnia is a couple things. Alright? It's dehydration and you're not balanced. So, you have difficulty focusing, or you forget, you're feeling sick, feel very sickly. You have weight gain. Again, this can be to you're not staying hydrated, and the inability to really tap into your spiritual gifts and tools. You may feel like you can't manifest, and this is all the parts of the symptoms for when you're not grounded. I've also heard too, like in meditation circles or mediumship circles, there's people, you get people who take off, who astral travel immediately, whether it's daydreaming, because daydreaming is a form of astral travel. So they'll take off astral travel. But if you astral travel too much while you're praying or meditating, or you even fall asleep, you're not grounding. All right, you're staying out of your body. So there's nothing wrong with astral traveling with your eyes open or daydreaming. Just make sure you come fully back in your body. Wiggle your toes. Make sure that you're fully in. Okay? And, excuse me. And that's a great point. Just to clarify what I said, someone in chat, it's easy. Words, you can also be misled by your emotions. Absolutely, because if there's an emotional attachment to a word, and it can mean something to you, mean something different to you than someone else, and someone else that has, it's good to them and they have good intentions in using it, but if it's bad for you, how are you receiving it? So that's why that's going from one end to the next. You know, you're in your mind, or the emotional, it's not being balanced. You always wanted to, in a balanced state, have that great communication. And it is something that we all are working on. How many of us can say we have balanced conversations every day? We don't. It's something that we do have to, let me take a deep breath and just get through this. And you know, a good test is your family. A very good test is your family, you know. And so it's even, and you can be doing something and they come in and they start talking to you and it's an inappropriate time. They take a deep breath and know that they need you to listen. Sometimes it's not even what you say, they just want you to listen. And obviously, look at them, give them eye contact. Don't sit with their back to them or go, you know. So it's communication. We all have to get better at that communication with each other and with all beings, with our guides. So, hello everyone. We have more people showing up in the chat. So hello, welcome to the Spiritual Insight Show. All right, let's get back to it. So there's ways to ground and protect yourself. I call rooting, to feel the roots in the bottom of your feet. But if you can, let's go a little higher for those who have hip issues or who feel like they have a disconnection. This will really anchor you in really good. Well, is feel that root chakra, that first chakra. You know where it is. Feel it. Visualize. It's at the base of your spine. Okay? Visualize that root chakra at the base of your spine glowing red, because that's the color of the first chakra. Right? Red. Red. Beautiful red. So it's glowing red. Now, see it beginning to grow sturdy roots like a tree. It's going down your spine. It's going down each leg. Out, of course, past the ankles and the feet, and out through the bottoms of your feet, the heels, your toes, roots, rooting. Now you are deep into the earth. And at the same time, just as a tree is rooted into that earth, this is why a tree is a very powerful energy or symbol of balance. Just as the tree is rooted deeply in the earth, though, you think of the trunk and it's going up the branches, it's tall, it's in the air, right? So it's representing the air energy. So you have the earth and the air, or the space. It's connecting us. There's multi-dimensional layers just in that tree's being, in essence. The same as with us. We are plugged in on so many different vibrations, from the roots all the way up. And so this is why it's important to anchor ourselves. Okay? So, we have comedians in the chat room. Too funny, right? So we talked about, all types of, there's grounding, and then there's those that are too grounded. The whole, just make sure that you're balanced. And if a tree doesn't resonate you as a symbol of balance, what symbol does? It could be the yin and yang. I love the yin and yang as well. Yin and yang, the tree of life. And there's no right or wrong with this, people. Come on. What symbol represents balance for you? So, then take that symbol. And if you not sure, that's something you might need to meditate with and tune into. But you can use that symbol to immediately, and it gets easier and easier. All you gotta do is think about it, and it's like, boom, grounding is done, because you've gone through the process so much that it actually gets easier, and it's just part of your being. And all it takes is for you to visualize that symbol, and bam, you're grounded. You are balanced. Because if you're too high, if you're ascended out of your body too much, you need grounding to be balanced. If you're too grounded, you need to leave your body. Just the right amount, though. Not fully take out, but you need to extend more. Out, most people say the crown chakra. You need to come out around your crown chakra, out your third eye. You've got to come do more of this upper vibrational work. Okay? Most people who are too grounded have a very hard time seeing out their third eye. They have a very hard time with this upper energy. Okay? And so, again, you can see yourself flip-flop, though. There may be times in life where you're too grounded. There may be times in life when you're not. And it's okay. It could be situational. But the thing is to catch yourself when you feel that you're unbalanced, so that you can fix it, that you can make it right. Okay? So that's why. Why don't people have any real power? That's an illusion. We do have real power. You were taught that you didn't, though. You always needed a middleman. We do have real power. It's very, very powerful. It's tap in within, And it's knowing that we are powerful beings. And more and more are awakening. Absolutely so. And all my years with back into the spirituality and working towards it, I've seen more and more, if you call them light workers, or people just stepping into their power. And it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. How do you see that? Because when I'm in meditation, I ask the guides to show me. And I used to just see the earth grid. And now I see beyond that too. And they show you, I said, like little lights, like little stars, whatever. But I can see like this map or the grid, and more stars as you're activating your lighting. You're lighting up. And so it's really, really beautiful. And unfortunately this is a society of separation, of disconnecting from your power, disconnecting from the source. It's the same thing. All right. So we are finding that balance. No more separation. Let's work back to that oneness. It's not going to happen overnight. So it's just keep on being the best you that you are. So anyway, excuse me. All right. So and we'll also, here's something. What's your definition of power? That's something that you ask someone in the business world. You ask someone in corporate America what power means to them. You ask a spiritual teacher what power means to them. Do you think it's going to be the same? It's going to be different. Because it is what's important to them. All right? So, there you go. It's all your interpretation of power. So, now I'm going to actually share a personal experience with you that the guide said it's time to talk about. I'm going to share this with you because I went through my most balancing act during this process. Now, we all have a lot of experiences that help and set us up for the next experience, and so forth and so on. I've shared a lot of my experiences with everyone. And again, I always say this is ongoing, because this is what we're here for, is to get to the point to where we no longer think of something as bad or good that's happening to us, but okay, I am accepting this in a balanced way. I am embracing the choice of, hey, yeah, this may be a painful situation, but I know that I need to trust this process because it's so much more. It's beyond me. It's beyond me. And we all have to go through these things. We help each other. And I hope that this next example will help you to understand what I'm talking about. Some of you I've known most of you for this length of time, so this may be a shock to some of you. It's okay. It's all right. But and I have to tell you, I think I went medication free, and I totally went onto this whole health. It was 2008. I thought it was 2009. It was actually 2008. And that was to set me up. I went to multiple healers and shamans in that year. And they were all telling me, too, I have this important mission coming up. And this is where I'm stepping more into my role as a healer. And really embracing it. No more dilly-dallying, goofing off. Yeah, to be serious. Let's get to it. And so it was like, okay, and I've had healers tell me you're preparing your body for this next mission, and it's very important, and it's very feminine preparing. And I was like, okay, I didn't totally grasp or understand, but I trusted and knew the process. I trusted the process. All right, that sounds good. All right. Well, in 2009, I started to have some sort of issues. As far as it wasn't really bad. All right. I just I started to feel how I felt a long time ago, like when I was pregnant. I started to feel like I was with child, and I thought that was really strange because of I thought I was done. With kids. Thought I was done. My kids at the time, I mean, they're in their 20s now. So they were older at that time, and I thought, no, I usually can tell when I'm getting, I'm usually really in tune with my body, what's going on. I didn't understand the process. So I would go and be tested, and I would get positive. Would do and so then I would go to the doctors, and okay, yes, it was getting inconsistent. They didn't like the test results they were getting because they were getting like positive, and then I'd go back and then there's something not right with the urine. They did so many tests I can't even tell you. All right, and it was like, okay, yes, so now we have to do this, and it was so confusing to me because I thought either you are or you aren't. What's the big deal? Why is there so much problem with trying to say yes or no? But in this time frame, once I was told yes, what do you have happens? You share with everybody. So I share with everybody, sharing with my family. Now I also have to tell you that my biological dad had crossed over in 2008. In that time frame, the females, all the daughter-in-laws, either gave birth or got pregnant after he crossed over. So it was like, is there any connection here with my dad? And my guys were like, you don't, yes, but not the way that you're taking it. Like, you're just going to have to, just sit back and relax with this. Just wait. But they told me very strongly, the guys did, that come fall of 2009, I'm going to have to trust them explicitly. I said, okay. So we go through, I have pictures. I have body documentation, pictures of my body. And I can tell you, the guys were very careful with the doctors I went to. They were very specific. They wanted me to have midwives, a midwife or two. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. I was going to wait I'm going to wait to the end for a midwife. And it wasn't like I was doubting, but I did have that, I'm trying to survive here in the physical world and understand what's going on to me in the different realm as well. I'm trying to understand everything that multi-dimensional that was happening. And so it was like, all right. So I went to go get, so now let's fast forward to the fall time. All right, because this was like spring 2009. Now it's fall time. Okay. So now I'm into fall, and I'm having ultrasounds done, and my doctor backed out completely. He didn't know what was going on. He referred me to, of course I have to be a specialist, a gynecologist, but my doctor, my primary doctor, with everything that was going back to him with results-wise, was getting nervous, or he just was like, I don't know how to help you. I don't know what's going on. Leave it to the specialist. But I noticed he was getting nervous. And so how does it make you feel when you see everyone else react or respond to what's going on to you? Like they're not, are you holding something back? Are you not saying something? What's going on? So this one gynecologist, her lab tech was like, oh yeah, I see, and she goes, wait a minute, hold on, let me go get the doctor. Well, the doctor comes in, looks at me, she pulls the film out, completely, no, She was incorrect in what she was looking at. We have to schedule another session. Not telling me anything. Here I am not knowing what the heck is going on. It's terrible, terrible, terrible how I was being treated. The guys kept saying, we told you. Stop seeing her. It's going to get worse. But then I felt pressure from my family. It was putting my family through an emotional roller coaster as well. And I thought, well, for my family's sake, I need to have an answer as to what's going on. And so I went back because this specialist had scheduled yet another ultrasound. I was like, okay. Usually there's other women in there with her, or at least one more. But there was no one in the room with her this time, and it was just her. And so she goes and does the ultrasound, and I have to tell you, I started humming, vibrating. I saw all these beautiful colors, and they were like, and Isis actually showed up. Isis, I knew it was serious stuff when I see Isis show up. She's standing behind the doctor, and she's like, look at the screen. And I look at the screen, and there's this bright light in my womb. And I'm like, oh, it's beautiful. And as I'm doing, and I'm looking, I must have the look on my face. And the doctor's going, there's nothing there. I don't know what you're looking at. There's nothing there. I mean, she just went off. Crazy. Wicked mean. And I'm like, what's up with this lady? And she goes, hold on, I'm going to be right back. I need to do an internal test with you. I'm going to do an internal probe. I need to go get that wand to do the internal probe. Okay. Well, she came back and she started to do the probe, and then she was like, actually what I'm actually doing a biopsy right now. I'm testing you for cancer. First off, do you know how much trouble I could have got her into because she never told me, she never got permission, she just did this. Now, I was devastated because I felt like, see, this is what the guys are talking about. Now, is she going to make me abort? What's happening? I don't understand what's going on. So, I went home and told the family, didn't understand what was going on. I was a mess. And I was actually put on, and then my guide's like, that's it, we're done. No more doctors because you don't understand what's going on. We're putting you on bed rest. From the fall of 2009 to Christmas time, because I was actually like, can I please get up out of bed now? I was on tremendous healing. I felt spirit healers come in, if you want to call them alien. There was my shaman guide. She is a medicine woman, a shaman. She would always show up. She was at my bed all the time to the left of me with a wooden bowl. She's sprinkling herbs or some type of liquid all over me. And she was there all the time. And I had to stay in bed for 3 months. I was on bed rest, but I knew I was getting healing. I documented a lot of stuff. George, even my husband, even saw I would have IV marks like in my arms. But they everything healed very, very quickly and very, very fast. Because I was like, I've got an IV hooked up to me. I know. But it's not like an IV like we would think. It was just tremendous. And I kept seeing these beautiful different colors. Now, so then we get up and stuff, and it's like 2010. I'm getting these angelic visits now by angels holding a baby. Then next she comes to me, she's holding 2 babies. All through 2010, I keep hearing, you are a vessel. Take care of yourself. Be very careful. This is how you have to act like you're pregnant. Be careful with your body. And I didn't get it, but I didn't say anything to anybody else. I just kind of just was like, oh, I don't know what's going on. What do I tell? I didn't tell my friends or my family in other states what was going on. But of course they were asking now. They're like, what's going on? And it's just like, oh, yo-yo back and forth. They think I'm pregnant. Now it put everybody on a roller coaster. And so it was like, okay. But I trusted because I wasn't going to go through that nightmare again. And I trusted. I started to see I had two midwives that came in with my shaman guide, and every day they would work on me and work and work. Now I have to tell you, at one point, at the end of 2010 now, my husband comes up to me, and I know they gave me a message. You know how your guides will give you messages through people who don't say things that they normally would say, something really. So he comes in and he looks at me and he goes, you know what? I get it. Finally, I get it. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you are a womb. He goes, you are an intergalactic womb, so to speak. He goes, I bet you there's energy in you that you're giving birth to on a daily basis that you don't even realize what's happening. He goes, you are a womb, a universal womb. And he was like, I think I get it now. And he goes, but yeah, you can't say that to family and friends. They're going to look at you like you got a hole in your head. And he had people asking, how is Tiffany doing? How, and out there, very much out there. It wasn't a bloating. It wasn't gas. It wasn't telling you. I had been pregnant before. Twice I knew what it felt like. I felt movement. Of course, oh no, you got gas. You got this. It's just your intestines. Whatever. I know what's going on in my body. Don't tell me. So then I kind of was like, because then I would, before he came in and told me this, I was having these visions of these children with black eyes, but not like what you hear on the internet about, oh my gosh, these kids had the universe in their eyes. They were like black eyes, but you look in and it's like the space, and you could see the stars, and you could, oh, it was beautiful. Universal eyes. And every time I slept, I kept seeing these babies. I'm holding a baby, and this baby has these universal galactic eyes. And it was just, dry, the more I surrendered to it and stopped trying to think about it, I stopped being driven crazy about it. And I'm like, okay, so now I have to lie to people when they ask me, and they're like, no, they just can't understand. You're translating. You have to just say this. I'm like, okay. I was like, this went on. Then 2011 to the beginning of 2012. That was like incubation. 2009, they were preparing my body and getting me ready. Then I had to heal from the damage the doctor did. And then go 2010 was incubation time. So then it was like 2011, they're like, this is going to be a birth year for you. And I'm hearing year. Okay, whatever. And so by the spring of 2012 was the last birthing process. And that one felt more laborious than the rest of them did. The rest of them were just very beautiful. It was like dream time. I would wake up. It was like I was giving birth to stars. It was such a phenomenal dream. And it was them trying to help me to understand by the visuals, but I had the baby in my hand, and then the baby just, like little fairy dust, just went everywhere. And I was like, wow. And I would have dreams and experiences like this all the time, all through 2011. 2012 was where I actually had some physical supporting what was going on. I felt like, and they're like, this is the final time, and this is big. These two are the anchors. And I didn't understand what they're talking about, the anchors for these new energies. I'm like, okay, all right. And because these two were different, and I felt that the last one was for the earth, the other ones was intergalactic womb, right here, coming and going. But the last two was huge. It felt like I really, and this is where I see crystal clear during this whole process. I saw two midwives. I saw everyone around me, and the whole birthing process. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. And I was like, well, let me see the bodies. And they were like, it's an energy. We'll show you. So they show me this feminine energy, and she turned into a jaguar and ran off with the earth. She ran off earthwise. Beautiful. Show me a male energy, and it's like blazing star. Blazing star was what I kept hearing. He turned to this massive star and then took off and much higher than the sky. And it almost like that moment I got it. Absolutely understood everything I went through those years. It was years experience. And they're like, do you know how many people have an opportunity to experience these things, but they stop and block it? I was not the only feminine energy, female, bringing in all these energies. I saw other women doing the same thing. They probably thought that they were sick or having crazy dreams of being pregnant and giving birth. No, they released these beautiful, powerful energies. And we can shut it down. We can choose not to be a part of it by what if I just said this is crazy, I'm going to listen to the doctors instead and then let them drug me and numb me and put the veil up even thicker so that I couldn't tune in. All right? And there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of chemicals, and they're used to disconnect so that there is a veil, because really there's no veil. We are visualizing, or we are told that there's a veil, that there is a separation. No. And it's very beautiful. I knew I couldn't share this with anyone yet. They're like, no, because now you have to shed. The last 3 years have been a shedding process, and I didn't understand what they're talking about. And what they said was that it was like I'm hooked up to all this stuff to be this womb. And like I said, I'm not the only one. I know there was others who did it too, other women. So you hear this, I hope you're being guided to watch this so that you can find some comfort in knowing. All right? This is giving birth to the divine feminine energy. Very powerful, very beautiful. Remember, this was the beginning of 2012. I didn't catch on then that anchoring and helping the new energies beyond 2012. I also was like, well, never even entertained sharing it yet. I knew that one day I'd be able to talk about it. So it was a complete shock this morning to hear my guide say, it's time. And I'm like, oh, you didn't give me any more notice. And they're like, yeah, we know you too well. We give you too much notice, you'll make excuses. I was like, now I've come too far, I trust, let's do it, let's go for it. So people can think I'm crazy, defriend me, or not watch me anymore, whatever. You know what? We're all here, and what we're doing, each and every one of us, is something so very beautiful that won't be validated sometimes on physical form, on a physical level, but it is totally supported in that spiritual realm. You have to understand how, oh man, I am burning up. Look at how red I am. Woo! Energies. So it's very beautiful. I do from time to time, I'll ask about, can I see, what I gave birth to? And there's just massive amounts of energy. They show me, they try to translate it like a bunch of kids. Now I have to tell you, by the way, those years, 2010 and 2011, I was around a lot of psychic mediums. I had shamans who didn't know, who wasn't in my support team. I'm talking about people now, the human being forms. Psychic mediums, shamans, all look at me, feel my energy, and would tell me immediately, you're pregnant. Here's the beautiful thing. They couldn't pinpoint female or male. It was even, half and half. And some people even said twins. They were just like, it's a very balanced, it's a very beautiful energy that's coming in. Can't tell if it's male or female. But the ones, and I kept track of, okay, this was female, this is male, but they were always balanced, equal number. And then some people would say twins, male and female. Wow, how are all these people getting the same thing? And some of them come up and tell me, I didn't say anything. So you want to feel like you feel like you're in this Twilight Zone episode. Yeah, that was my Twilight Zone story. But it is beautiful. And when I go outside in the middle of the night, because, the dogs have to go, and I look up at the stars, I get it. I understand. It's for all of us. And we all do things for humanity by being the love that we are. And a lot of us do help out more than we realize. It's not your imagination. You're not going crazy. Enjoy and embrace this whole awakening process. We're all part of it one way or another. Whether we want to embrace or ignore the crazy dream that we had that we did this. A lot of us are working on the astral plane. When we sleep, we are doing some more work. How do you know? Ask to see what you're doing in astral time when you are sleeping. Are you, ask to, I'm not going to try to feed it and manipulate it. That's why I just want you to ask. Ask to see what you're doing, because it can be so many different things. And it may blow your end. It's not your imagination. Like your imagination's bad. I think your imagination is your intuition's voice. So go ahead and ask how you are participating to humanity on a higher energetic level. And you'll probably be surprised what you see. And be so humble not to, I can't talk about this. People think that I'm nuts. We're all nuts, and we're all there helping. But that finds some comfort for you. But I've heard other women giving birth to different types of energies, even to physical. And it was interesting, because I'm constantly attracting people like that to me, because that's what happens to you. You attract people in that same vibrational energy. Knew a woman who was like, I did not have sex in the physical form, but there was a spirit guide that she knew who kept coming to her, and she got pregnant, and this kid looks like the person in spirit. How many people would immediately, yeah, okay, mental ward, psych ward, are you okay? Why not? Who's to say she's wrong? Just leave, No, open and expand your awareness. And awareness is opening up and expanding and embracing all these possibilities. We have multidimensional possibilities, and choices. Just as we are multidimensional beings, the options out there are so much more than you can ever realize, and our potential. All right. So I know I went over, but I started a little late, but I wanted to share that with you. So there it is. For those of you that were close to me at that time and during that time frame, what I had to, when everything was done, how do you tell people? A lot of you knew that I had a stillbirth. Don't feel sorry or upset for me. I did not. It was not a stillbirth. It was an energetic, beautiful birth. But I knew I couldn't. I just had to listen to the guides and trust and say, because at that time I couldn't say, they didn't want me to. So trust. And now I can talk about it. And I'm finding more and more. I love it, and I want you to please check out all the spiritual teachers. Now that with YouTube and the videos, check out what people are saying. Hear their story, hear their experiences. I want you to hear their experiences. We all have a story. That's our earth story, where we came from, blah, 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 blah. No. That all sets you up. I'm talking about your spiritual experiences. All right? How are you contributing to humanity with the being part of you? So those are the stories you will hear come out. And some of it will push you to open and expand and to think and to feel maybe in a different way. So thank you so much, everyone who's watching. I shared a very intimate part of myself with each of you. But you know what? Even though it was intimate, it was very, very galactic. It was very universal. It was a beautiful experience that everyone else on a multidimensional level embraced, acknowledged, validated everything that had happened. And we don't always have to have validation from the people in front of us. All right? Because if they're not in those same upper vibrations, they might not get it yet. Doesn't mean they won't ever, but sometimes it takes a little time to process everything. So it's that's really powerful. So happy to share that with everyone. And no, it's not like an ego thing. I always kind of get scared with sharing things because it's like I'm not bragging. It's not about false ego. It's just sharing and let you know that things like this do happen, such extraordinary levels. And for the other women that had for months consecutive dreams of giving birth and the doctors couldn't find anything with you, who went through similar situations, please know that you participated in this. And this was around 2011 and 2012 time frame, the beginning of, to help anchor in these new powerful energies, you know. And I have to tell you, what a powerful mission for me, an old male warrior, to come into this feminine body and be a part of it. I totally get now. I always knew I had to embrace being a female and helping raise that balance, the feminine energies, to a balanced level. All right, so you may see this female energy in essence, but every day I have to work with staying balanced because that male warrior wants to dominate, and I have to. Nope. Okay, let's step into it. And so I've always had very powerful feminine guides, Isis and Mother Mary, and just they step forward and let's do this. And each and every one of us, this is what I'm talking about. It's not going from just as a little reminder. I feel like someone needs to hear this. Well, you know, the rise of the goddess, the rise of the feminine, it's not going from one extreme to the next. We're not leaving a patriarchal for matriarchal. No, we've already done that. Matriarchal was first, then patriarchal. We're now coming to the time of balance. Even men are embracing and balancing the feminine part of themselves. It's happening to each and every one of us. So thank you, everyone, each and every one of you, for tuning in today and sitting in sacred circle. And I hope you all received beautiful, beautiful healings. I know I could feel your love. And thank you so much for sharing that with me. And be sure this evening to tune in at 9 p.m. to a radio show, the Spiritual Insight radio show. My special guest will be Sherry Scott, and we will give some psychic insights, some readings, and some messages to those that call in. Thank you very much. Catch you next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for another Spiritual Insight TV show. Many blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you.